How do people read tarot cards? I visit a witch high priestess to find out.
I'm Alejandro. I search the world for paranormal activity. I am the Dead Explorer.
You say you taught yourself, right?
Yes.
So, do you think that everybody develops their own personal way of reading them, or is there a right or wrong way, I guess?
Anybody who is good over time develops their own personal way of reading them. There's all sorts of books now. I mean, you can buy all of these decks and all of these cards, and people teach themselves with them, and they read the book, and they go so far with them. The problem is, okay, to pick up and to read a book, first you have to know your ABCs. First you have to know the words in English. Then you have to know how to put together a sentence. And then all of a sudden you can read the book, and it's not that hard.
Gotcha.
But people, they just pick up the book, and it's sort of like they start in the middle, and they don't realize the underlying system that goes in underneath cards. So whenever I teach this to people, I actually like to teach it over a period of at least 3 classes, because there's just so much to it. And even then, they're just scratching the surface. Even then, they've just sort of got the beginnings of what they need to know, and then they need to practice.
I know you as somebody pagan, Wiccan, you know, that's a way of life, spirituality even, if that's okay for me to say. And then some people think of tarot cards sometimes as like, 1-in-100 psychics who... Because there's always a bad seed that gives the good people a bad name.
Absolutely, and there's many people that are just really downright scared of them.
So, like, I find it interesting that I guess I didn't realize that there would be a connection. It's almost like people almost think sometimes tarot cards are extrasensory perception tools.
They're a tool like any other tool that can help you increase your intuition. What they do is, whenever you start to read them and you start to really learn and work with them, they give you the skill to sharpen your own intuition to where you can trust it. It really, for me, it's a God gift. It's something that I did long before I thought of myself as pagan.
Okay.
It's a gift that I have, and it's a gift of knowing things. And sometimes people need those messages. They need that validation. So, for me, there's nothing bad in this, and I read them for the people and for the messages that they get. And I try and read them in a way, even whenever I'm saying some really scary things to people, I try and say them as this is just a change and it's just a cycle that you're going through. Everybody is so scared of things changing. Change is not anything to be scared of. That's how you get something new. Switching a new job or a new relationship or whatever, people say, oh, that's scary, but the old relationship had to go away before you could get the new one. The old job had to go away before you could get the new job. So change is just part of that cycle. And so I think they associate the fear of change in the things that I read and say. It's all scary to them, and I try and make it not be. Actually, I do life coaching with a lot of people, and the life coaching grew out of the cards. And the reason it grew out of the cards is so many people, they're not in connection with their own emotion. They don't have the skills. They haven't been given good decision-making skills. So what I try and do whenever I read for them, I try and be an advocate for you and what it is that you want to do in your life. And it's that mom, coach, friend, pastor, that's there and that says you can do it. And with all of the positive thinking skills and the manifestation skills that I've learned through the course of the years, I give them different homework and different things to do.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it all grew from the cards, because I would read for people and then they would come back and they would do the very same thing. You've actually got to take what they give you and ponder it and think about it and then go forward and learn from that. People don't realize we're conscious creators of our life. I don't create your life. You know, I don't create anybody else's in this room. I create mine. You create your own life. You create your own situations. You create your own consequences. It's what we call a personal path of self-responsibility. People don't like the words personal path of self-responsibility. They like it being somebody else's fault.
Yeah. No,
and so sometimes they get sort of mad at me because, you know, you made this. Sometimes you have to live with what you made before you can go on to something different.
If people were hearing our conversation right now, which they will because we're recording it, obviously, you take the part of the cards out completely. Don't even think about this as a conversation about tarot cards. Everything you said about living your life and how you improve your life and how you make decisions, I mean, that stuff, like, and you said life coaching, I mean, all that stuff is like the kind of stuff you would read in a like self-help book or how to improve yourself, and it's the kind of strategies that a bunch of successful people talk about. You know, if you read a bunch of successful people and they say they got successful, the very stuff you're talking about is kind of like what got them there, getting over the fear of change, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, you know, making the decision to create the life you want to live instead of going, you know, by on a life that you have no control over. All those things are just like on their own are so true. You know, I completely, everything you're saying, cards aside, just even know that it's all very true, and it's common sense stuff.
I want to give a big shout out to Gail for being so sweet and letting me hang out in her home. The least I can do to thank her is to share her website. If you want to know more about tarot cards or get a reading, use the contact button on her site.